we learn based on what was modeled to us, what was told to us, what we saw. And so if we learned early on that money equals stress, that is the relationship that we have with money today.
Welcome to Honest Feedback, the podcast where deep truth meets bold transformation. I'm Goddess Brittany King, a pleasure priestess and a transformational retreat facilitator who helps women connect to their deepest truths, reclaim their pleasure, and awaken their inner power.
And I'm Lisette King, an emotional ninja and transformational coach who helps leaders release baggage, heal unresolved trauma, and step into their most aligned, purposeful lives.
We've created this podcast for spirit-led individuals just like you.
Seekers of truth, personal growth, and meaningful connection. Whether you're navigating life's big questions, craving more joy and fulfillment, or simply looking for honest, relatable conversations, you're in the right place.
Through personal stories, actionable advice, and transformative insights, our ultimate goal is to empower you to create a life that's overflowing with pleasure, purpose, and authenticity.
We know you're capable of incredible things, so let's make it happen together. Welcome back to Honest Feedback. We took a little break.
Yeah, we did.
We were learning, we were growing, we were cruising.
We were watching friends get married.
Yeah, I actually married someone.
Yeah, and you're officially ordained.
I'm an ordained minister now.
Oh.
Wow, life has happened. But it's actually really quite appropriate because we have been balling out. Yeah. And this episode's about money.
Money. Do-do-do.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. Wait, no, I don't know.
Well,
we're just going to flow with it. Yeah. Those
Cardi
are the
B
songs.
money. Insert money song here.
Yeah. We'll just air dance to the money song that we inserted here. It's probably not there, to be honest with you. But cool. Yeah. So how do you feel about money?
I mean, love it. Big fan.
Big fan.
Love all the choices.
Yeah.
Here for more of it.
Yeah.
And sometimes some conflicting feelings come up. How about you? How do you feel about money?
I absolutely love it. I've had really, my relationship with it has grown.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I have a pretty good, the love is there.
The love is there.
The love is there. We're building it up.
Yeah. And I feel really, really excited because we have a fucking goddess queen.
Oh, she's a queen.
On today.
Yeah.
Mary Lou, she's a real one. We met her some time ago and just hearts in the eyes. You feel the soul connection and you're just like, you are in the vibe.
Yeah.
And so we have Mary Lou on today. Here, I'll read her bio. So Mary Lou Rodriguez, she is a brain training expert in wealth and success and CEO of a thriving growth company with international reach. She's helped thousands rewire their brains, shift beliefs, and unlock unstoppable confidence to achieve wealth and success. As a keynote speaker and the host of the podcast, The Unstoppable Mind, she teaches frameworks rooted in neuroscience and spiritual laws for lasting transformation. Her mission is to help 1 million individuals overcome mental blocks, eliminate self-doubt, and manifest their dreams through powerful programs and brain training tools.
Oh, I love that.
Right?
Gosh. Goals.
That is what I mean, like
her bio's upgrading me.
I know. And
Yeah.
so to be able to have someone on to teach about the frequency of wealth, I just feel what an invitation to expand into your greatness, expand into your power.
That's really just so potent and gives us an opportunity to talk about our sponsor. Brittany, talk about our sponsor.
Yes. This week's episode of Honest Feedback is sponsored by Mary Lou and Awaken Your Fire. Lisette and I are hosting an incredible experience for women who are ready to ignite their powerful inner spark, to unleash their desires, and to live their most limitless life. It is 3 days in Sedona, May 23rd through 25th, and we go deep, y'all. There is release work, there are embodiment practices, rituals, community, all in the beautiful, beautiful sacred vortex that is Sedona, Arizona. And I cannot wait. Like the guest list, queens.
Oh, queens.
True fire.
Yeah, our tribe is going to be there.
Yes.
We got some of our besties there. So if you want to come hang out with us and our besties and become a bestie, come on through to Awaken Your Fire.
Yes. And if you're ready to stop living life in a way that feels stuck or small or everything is fine, but nothing spectacular, this is an initiation to step into your power and to shine your most powerful light. And for being a member of Mary Lou's community, if you use the code UNSTOPPABLE, you get $500 off. And it is already priced at a steal, y'all.
Yeah.
It's basically free.
We're giving it away. I think we're paying you to come.
Yes, because we are here to be of service. And so if you've been like, I am looking for an initiation, I am looking for soul aligned community, I am looking to step into who I know the fuck I am meant to be, this is for you. Use the code UNSTOPPABLE for $500 off. Register now. Doors are closing soon.
Yeah. Now, just go ahead and pause this. Go register. We'll wait. Yeah. And welcome back to Honest Feedback.
We should give Mary Lou a call. Are you ready to give her a call?
Yeah, let's give her a ring.
Okay. Hi, Mary Lou.
Hello, you two.
Oh, we are so grateful to have you on the podcast today. I mean, gosh, we met at camp. Yes, I feel like, yes, facilitating, being camp counselors, and people were here for Mary Lou and her medicine and her money codes and her prosperity. And yeah, we're just so honored to have you on the podcast today.
I'm excited. I've been talking about hanging out with you two, and I feel really just blessed and super grateful to be able to share with you and with the people that listen to your podcast, just help them to have some awareness, some understanding, and some love for themselves as we talk about money, because money can bring up a lot of crazy feelings. And I really want people to know like how incredible they are despite what it is that they believe about themselves or what they believe about money. So I'm super excited to be here.
Yes. Well, we gave your official bio, but like in your own words from your heart, like how are you serving people? How are you being?
Yeah. So I work with people who are in all different types of careers. I tend to work mostly with entrepreneurs, and I feel like I work with the most talented, the most gifted entrepreneurs who aren't making the money that they know that they deserve. And so I love to be able to like help people understand all the things that are probably blocking them. And I love being able to help people understand that inside of them, I believe that there's a millionaire.
Yes.
And so
inside of me?
I do. Yes. I do. Because if I can become a millionaire, anybody can become a millionaire. And that's the truth. Like that is the truth. And so we're going to have a real conversation today about how you do that. And so, yeah. So
love it. I'm here for this conversation. Unleash my inner millionaire.
Yes. Well, what led you to this path? Like, were you born into money? But like,
yeah.
You get a millionaire. You're a millionaire.
I know. I remember when I was first learning identity, and I remember thinking like, what would it have been like had I been born into money? Just knowing that money was like water, or that money was always available to you. I was like, that was such a foreign concept for me at the time, because it was so opposite of the way that I was raised. So my parents are from Mexico. They're immigrants, but we were also migrant workers. And so we worked in the fields seasonally. I mean, well, the kids did. My stepfather worked year round, but my first memories are of being in the strawberry fields. And it wasn't just myself, it was all my siblings. And we did it. And I must've been like 4 or 5. And I'll talk about this in just a moment, but what came to mind here. But I remember like learning everything about who I was in those strawberry fields. I remember learning that money wasn't meant for me. I remember learning that I was Mexican. And I remember thinking that Mexican people were poor because that was my experience. I didn't know anything else other than we were broke. We never had enough money. didn't, grow on trees, although my mom didn't say that necessarily. That wasn't the saying that she used. But it was just a really, I mean, there was all the things that you can imagine. There was domestic violence, there was alcoholism, there was traumas, and so money was the reason why I love to talk and teach about money is because of my experience of living in lack for so long. For decades, I lived in lack. And it wasn't until I was 45 years old that I hit my first six figures ever in my life, ever. And I thought, oh my gosh, I was like, this is absolutely incredible how I went from when I first became a hypnotist, how I went from 16 cents to seven figures. Like it's absolutely wild. And it wasn't a destiny that was meant for me, according to, what my mother and my father told me, not because they didn't love me, but because they didn't know any different. But this is a destiny that I have chosen and I believe in and I love, and I want to help others see that they can have this too.
Oh, yes. Yes. Are you guys inspired listening to this? I am lit up. Like, we brought the big guns in to help us today. And thank you so much for your vulnerability and sharing more of your story. I feel like sometimes we can other people with money, and it's the stories, it's them over there. And I mean, this is what our writer starts to talk about when we get into the question. And as someone who's been in my own experience of have not into having and all the tumult that comes up, I'm really, really excited to jump into this conversation. So shall we listen to her? Yes. Okay. So we have a texter. I grew up in a home where money was always a source of stress. My parents worked so hard, but we never had quite enough. I remember hearing things like rich people are selfish and we're not like them. And over time, I internalized this idea that having more meant taking from others. I'm an adult and an entrepreneur, yet every time I reach for more, whether it's charging more in my business, dreaming of a bigger life, or simply wanting a luxurious life, it's like this inner alarm goes off. I feel guilty, greedy, like I'm betraying where I came from. And on top of that, I've noticed I only feel deserving when I've earned it through struggle. If something comes too easily, I push it away or I downplay it. There's a part of me that believes I have to suffer to be worthy.
No.
How do I move through this? Can I really have more, or am I just selfish? Signed, struggling with money.
So I read this question last night and I didn't go into it in my mind because I wanted to just sit with this and show up today and talk about what comes through me through my heart.
Yes.
Because I read this question, I was like, this is me. And this is so many other entrepreneurs.
I felt the same way.
I was just like, this was who I used to be. And I had no idea about how to become. Honestly, like, thank you, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and thank you to being a hypnotist, because I understood that there was a rewiring piece before rewiring became a big deal. So I understood that. And so I love this question so much because I was like, oh my gosh, this question is going to help so many people because it's a deep, deep question. And I could feel the pain of this person as they were writing about their money story and the type of relationship that they have with money currently.
Yeah. This hit me at my core. I was like,
I know.
Did I write this question? I'm like, answer this for us, please.
No. There's so many different factors at play with this question. And one of the first things that I would love to talk about is how money is always a source of stress. So I wrote that down as you were speaking, because what we don't understand when we're learning about money, and that's because our brains, we're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, and our brains are so malleable and they're taking everything in like a sponge. And we learn based on what was modeled to us, what was told to us, what we saw. And so if we learned early on that money equals stress, That is the relationship that we have with money today.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting goosebumps.
Yes.
We can throw down for a long time about this because I did not know. I kept saying, because I wanted to believe that I loved money, but my body was not on board with that. I did not feel it, no matter how many times I told myself, because that's what you hear, right? Change your relationship with money. But the truth is, underneath in my unconsciously in my subconscious mind, the truth of how I felt about money. And this is the question I always ask people. I always say, how do you feel about money? And people will say, I love money. And I don't want to be rude in any way. So I'm not, but my mind goes, but does their external reality reflect that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay? So you're following,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
It's so crazy. But I get it. I understand it. Consciously, they love money. But underneath, I'll ask questions like at my trainings or workshops or whatever it is. And I'll be like, I don't want you to answer the first thing that comes to mind when I ask you how you feel about money or why you would love more money in your life. We'll come back to that. But I'm like, I want you just to sit with it and ask your body, how do you really feel about money? Then we'll start to get deep. And then we'll start to be like, well, the truth is, this is how I grew up with money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then, but it's even deeper than that because the truth, it's like, it's even deeper than that. It's not even just stress. It's what money means to you. So that's another question I ask people is what does money, how do you feel about money? And then what does money actually mean to you? And not current, Lisette or, Brittany, it's not to current adult you, to the little version of you that became like the little version of you that was first exposed to money.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, what even just came up for me was like the first thing I was like, I felt this energy of like fighting.
Yeah.
I felt this energy of fighting, and it was so not present until you brought it into the field. And I feel like these questions that you're asking are so potent because it's when you said, how do you feel about money? A lot of times we can go to our conscious mind of this is how I feel about money. But if you start going into your body, literally, how do I feel about money? For myself, I'll just be vulnerable. It's like, well, there's a part of me that like my heart starts to quicken, feeling a little less safe, and this is just talking about it. This is just like,
yes,
this is just talking about it. Yeah. What came up for you?
No, what happened was that I had an instant memory of it was always a cause of sorrow. I would see my mom at the kitchen table doing math on the bills, and it was like the number always made her sad, and I would see her crying at the table, and so I would cry with her because I didn't like seeing my mom sad. So I remember we would just be crying over money, and I didn't even know what it was yet, but I was already sad.
Wow.
So yeah, help.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So the thing that we don't understand is if we don't have a good relationship with money and we receive it, and we didn't receive it through struggle, and we'll talk about that too, because I was in the strawberry fields because I was raised, that's how I grew up. That was the pattern of what I knew. It wasn't until I was like 47 that I realized I'm still in the strawberry fields. I'm still in the paradigm of like the F in strawberry fields. Like I don't get to choose my life. I just accept whatever's given to me. And because that's how I felt as a child. Oh my gosh, I'm getting goosebumps again. but back to how you feel about money, that will dictate how much you have. And if you receive it and money makes you sad, I can already tell you people will push it away.
Yeah. Who wants to be sad?
Who wants
to feel unsafe? Or who wants to feel stressed? You know what I mean? Like,
think there's going to be a fight.
Or think there's going to be a fight. Like, these are the unconscious things.
Yes.
That are holding us back.
Oh my gosh, totally. So sadness and fighting.
Yeah.
And mine is pain. Money equals pain. But you don't know that. It's like it's so unconscious.
Yeah.
But when I looked at my life and I looked at my mom and my dad and it's like it just money really meant pain. And so that's the deeper layer that we like, that I help people understand, is the truth of how they feel about money. And it is not wrong. It's not. For some reason, we just think that we have to hide the truth. It's beautiful. It's like, it's the moment that you get to begin to shift. And, you know, I can totally relate to fighting for money, because my mom taught us we had to fight for everything.
Mm-hmm.
We had to fight. That's how. And so Brittany.
Yeah, let's get it.
So one of the pieces to moving into the new identity, because otherwise we'll take the fighting pattern with us. We don't mean to. It's not conscious, but it's how we were raised. And so it's there. It gets activated inside of us. And one of the things I realized is that my new identity, I was so afraid, and this relates to the question, I was so afraid to let go of the fighting. Like, what would my life be like if I didn't fight for everything? And my poor sweet boyfriend, my poor sweet boyfriend is so calm, but he's a product of his environment. He had two loving parents that validated him. And I am a product of my environment. And I'm a badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
So sometimes I do respond still, because I do get activated. Like, that's the other thing. I think, talk to me in 10 more years and I'll tell you whether or not whether or not my wounds get activated. But I'm the first to be like, I'm feeling activated right now. I know that something is kicking up a fuss in me, and I'm not exactly sure why, but I feel angry. But anyways, okay. So the fighting piece.
Yeah.
So what would you, let me see how I want to ask you this question. How do you, and I'm thinking and I'm feeling into this, and you saw me how I coach, right?
Yeah.
We got
sort of like,
Yeah.
I'm tuning in. If you gave up the fight, what would that mean?
I mean, I just feel like this sigh of relief and like this energy of emotion coming up of like, what does it even mean to
Yeah.
give that up? You know,
Totally.
what would my life be like if I didn't have to fight? You know, and what's running through my head is even feeling all the ways that me and my siblings would fight. It was like, it feels like there's not enough food, so we're fighting over food. We're fighting over attention because it feels like that's a limited resource. Like I'm just like, I'm seeing it in stereo now in all the ways we were reenacting this pattern of we have to fight for resources, love, safety, belonging, food, like educate. Like that was a constant fight in my house. Education, like who gets this, who gets to go to that school, and so it was this energy of fighting, and I'm like, gosh, to let that go, I'm like, it feels like, even just thinking about it, I'm like, wow, it seems like there'd be a lot of space and an opportunity of like, who could I be if that's not driving?
Yeah. Yes. I had the hardest time saying the word privileged. And because I learned I was not privileged. And I grew up believing that I was not privileged. And so as an adult, and as I started to create more wealth in my life, and then I go, I travel a lot. And so I'm going to all these different countries where I am so privileged. And I'm even privileged here, of course, but it was hard for me to say the word privilege. I remember it was like a dirty word.
Yeah.
So this goes back to also our listener, but when I was like, what do I lose by calling myself privileged?
Ooh.
And then I started to cry, because I understood that it felt like I was cutting my ties to my mom, to my heritage, to my ancestors, because I had taken a vow of poverty. I mean, of course, I don't remember that.
Yes.
And I was like saying goodbye. I thought I was interpreting it as I'm saying goodbye to who I've been.
Yeah. Mm.
And so I just cried and cried and cried so that I could release it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the truth is that they are cheering me on.
Mm-hmm.
My mom wants me to have peace. My mom doesn't want me to fight.
Yeah.
My mom wants me to enjoy life and everything it has to offer. And it only means goodbye if I interpret or make it mean that it's goodbye. But in my visualization, when I first started to be comfortable calling myself, a 7-figure, because imagine.
Yeah.
And I remember, and I would visualize all my ancestors behind me, holding me and cheering me on.
Gosh, girl, what I mean, like, I'm just the truth bombs, the everything. You just really supported me, and like this is deeply personal for everyone who's listening. My mom passed, as many of you have known on the podcast, and near the end of when she was about to pass, she shared with my aunt, because me and my sisters were in a period of strife, and she was just like, I just want them to stop fighting. And to hear this echo of how we were showing up with this fighting, and like in the space where she was closest to the veil and all the thing, it's like I want that pattern to stop. I'm here and feeling this like permission. It's on my necklace. This permission and this like I can put down this tool, this behavior, this pattern that I've been running because it doesn't serve me, and like it was never intended to,
Yes.
and I can let it go, and it's not dishonoring my family, and I'm not belonging if I don't hold on to the vows of poverty or keep fighting for scraps or whatever it is. Like, I just feel like this energy of like, I can fucking let that go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you can. You really can.
God.
And it's so good because fighting doesn't serve us. It hurts us, but because it's a survival pattern and because it's what we know, we're so comfortable in that, which is what I hear you saying with the fighting piece, but also the listener when she was talking about how when she wants to feel luxurious or she wants, a more luxurious life, or probably just to even have a little bit more, she said she feels the alarm.
Yes.
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 Which is what we do. It's all of a sudden we want more, and our body does not feel safe receiving more. And I know you totally get that, Brittany. I know you do, because you had mentioned it a few times. And I've heard you talking about this before. Our body does not feel safe to receive ease.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Yeah.
What we can receive. And I was doing breath work, and I bawled my eyes out because I had gone to a cold plunge with my sweet boyfriend who I get into the cold plunge, and the pain was nothing. I was like, I was in there 7 minutes. My boyfriend jumps in and he jumps out, And I'm like, I could be here another 7 minutes, it was like going 8 minutes. I'm like, I could be here 30 minutes. I could. The capacity for me to receive pain was so easy.
Yeah.
Goosebumps again.
Yeah. Yo, girl, they're truth bombs. We're speaking the truth here. And like, I mean, how many of us resonate? And I feel like this caller is saying that, or the listener is saying that as well, of like, I am so used to the struggle. I'm so used to the pain. I'm so used to going without that, like, anything different sounds the alarm.
Sounds the alarm. Yep. Does. Does. And then she shames herself and she judges herself. She calls herself greedy, which is what we do. I can't have more than other people. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And we learned that.
Yeah.
All I wanted was enough so that I could feel like, I'm like, somebody tell me I'm enough so that I could feel like I belonged with everyone else.
Yeah.
And just like never had enough. So, this is what our caller was saying, is that she never had enough. And I know that that is a pattern that probably plays out in her life in many, many ways. There's never enough love. There's never enough safety, and there's never enough validation. There's never enough money. There's never enough, whatever it is. We don't necessarily know that because it's so a part of who we are, but we can just look at our lives and be like, oh my gosh, it's not just about my bank account. It's about how I show up and feeling like there's never enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there becomes an addiction to the stress response, not just in money, but in relationship and your physical body. Like it just, you become like an addict for all of it. Yeah. And that resonates with even just the sadness. I love being a sad girl. You know, there was a long time where I would just love finding myself in the bottom of a bottle, listening to sad music. You know?
Oh my God.
So it all scans how it goes across.
Totally. And I was a sad girl too. I struggled with alcohol. I mean, it's no shock to anybody
Yeah.
who knew me as a little girl and the trauma that I experienced, and never really understanding how to process the pain. And so I drank the pain, and I struggled for 15 years with a really, really serious alcohol addiction where I had to go to rehab. It just like, I could not stop. I could not stop. And it was because and now I can go, oh my gosh, I had no tools. I had
Yeah.
no way to process the pain that I experienced as a young girl. And so so now I can look back at Mary Lou, who drank for 15 years, and be like, she's such a badass. Like that was the tool I knew. And so I used it. But the way that it's like, it's no surprise, when we don't get validated, when we don't get seen, when we don't get told that we're amazing just the way we are, when we don't have our needs met, we look for it. We do. Whether we understand it or not, we look for it outside of us because we think that it's outside of us. And that's why I want to bring it back to this caller. It's like most people want money because they think it's going to bring safety. But if they don't have money, what they don't understand is that is their normal. That is their familiar.
Yes.
That is unconsciously what is safe to them, even though they don't like it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's like,
Yes.
this is the thing that I talk about. I'm like, money will not bring you safety. You're going to spend it. You're going to get rid of it. It's unconscious. People don't mean to, but they don't feel safe with money. They
Yeah.
feel unsafe with money because it's not their familiar. It's not their comfort zone. It's not what they know. And that's why lottery winners all the time end up like broke, because they don't understand.
Yeah.
It's not about how they spend their money or how they don't spend their money. They don't understand that they don't actually feel safe with $1 million or whatever it is. So they give it away. They spend it away. Whatever it is. Does that make sense? So people want safety for money, but I'm like, safety comes from teaching your body how to feel safe, regardless of what's happening outside of you.
Yes. Gosh, it's just so rich. It always comes back to the body and doing the internal work. It's like our external life is a reflection of what's happening internal. How do you support people in creating that safety in their body? Like, what would you say? Is there anything that someone can do at home?
Yeah, I do want to give a tool, because I know that we're talking about a lot of the pain or the stress of not having money. And I also, and so I'm going to give a tool here in just a moment, but it's not like creating and attracting abundance is definitely not the hardest thing I've ever done. The hardest thing I've ever done, really, really, if we're going to be like 100% honest here, the hardest thing I've ever done is love myself just because I exist. I'm like, how do I want to say that?
Yeah.
That has been the hardest part, because I felt like there's been a lot of faults. I've done a lot of things wrong. And none of that, like, that's my past. It's not my present, only if I make the past my present. And so loving myself fully and completely, believing that I'm whole and complete no matter fucking what, like that has been the hardest thing to do. creating abundance, I mean, I can look at anybody's life and externally and tell, and I know what's happening internally. Like I just can't,
Yeah.
that's my gift. Like
Yeah.
my gift is really being able to see people's patterns and understanding how they're blocking themselves, whether they understand it or not. That is really, really my gift. I was telling my Scott's mom, my boyfriend, she asked me yesterday, she asked me a question and I said, her name's Marianne. I said, Marianne, it would be very hard to stump me. I'm like, it is, I'm like, I don't, I have not, I'm like, it would be very hard for me not to figure out what's going on
Yeah.
because that's my gift.
Yeah.
It's how I serve. And so what I want to share about money is that if you do the deeper work to open yourself up to receive, you just don't receive more money. You receive ease, you receive peace, you receive fun, you receive the joy, you receive freedom, you receive like you get the gift of really being able to truly understand how amazing life is. Because I think a lot of times we get stuck in what's not working or what's not happening. And so when you open up yourself to receive, though, I know people want to make money, and that's what I love to talk about. So in order to understand and change your relationship with money, you've got to know how you feel about it unconsciously, not your conscious awareness,
Yeah.
unconsciously. So that's a question to journal on.
Yeah.
Number two, what do you make money mean? Like, what does money mean to you? Does it mean manipulation? Does it mean pain? Does it mean sadness? Does it mean like Lisette? And when you think about your mom and you think about your relationship that you have with money, like what agreement did you make when you sat there with your mama crying because you did not want her to be alone? I'm getting goosebumps again.
Yeah, yeah. There was an agreement to suffer in it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
much like our color. Yeah, and that would scan with how I was throughout my life. There was always like, if it
Yeah.
wasn't working 3 jobs and not having a day off, or it was,
Yeah.
stressing around debt and just feeling this like deep suffering around. I guess I just don't get to have it.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
definitely not a pattern I grew up with. It's been a lot of unconscious
yeah.
unpacking in the unconscious to even get to the level we've gotten to. And it's,
Yeah.
but there's the way you describe the feeling around money. Because I like to say, when you ask, how do you feel about money? I was like, well, I love money. It's more of an unrequited love.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Oh, that's funny.
But
Yeah.
that's what it has felt like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
has.
Yeah. And then learning to create safety with receiving money, because we're talking about money. I mean, I love to bring in everything because the truth is, if I had believed that I was whole and complete when I first started this journey of becoming the woman that I am today, if I had known back then that I was whole and complete no matter fucking what, I think things would have been a whole hell of a lot easier. But because I had to prove it, I had the proving energy. I have to prove my value. I have to prove I'm worth it. I have to
Yes.
show up and be the best. I
Yeah.
have to, it's like success means this. Finally, when I started creating success and money, I was like, oh my gosh, I matter. I
Mm.
finally matter. I
Mm.
wasn't the little Mexican girl anymore that had parents as migrant workers and who was put into ESL, even though I had perfect English. I mattered. I belonged.
Yes.
And so going, so
Mm-hmm.
internal safety.
Mm-hmm.
I know I keep getting distracted. It's
No,
because
this
I'm
is
Yeah.
so good.
It's
so
We're
much
important.
tracking.
fun.
Yeah.
Honestly, internal safety is really about taking time to yourself to be able to put your hand on your heart and do breathing and just breathe. And I love vagus nerve breathing. So I always teach people when you put your hand on your heart and you take a big deep breath in, you push out your stomach. And then we just hold it at the top and exhale. And Brittany, what do you need to hear?
I am safe to have what I desire.
And Lisette,
I deserve what I want.
yeah, yeah. And so continuing to breathe, take a big deep breath in as you push out your stomach. And then just holding it at the top. And exhale. And then I just tell myself in these moments that it's safe for me, that it's safe for me to have more, that it's safe for me to receive, that it's safe for me to grow, to expand, that it's safe for me even when I feel afraid. So these are the moments that I sit down and I tell myself what I need to hear, which is very different than what we want to believe or an affirmation. What we need to hear, we needed to hear it growing up. And so this is when the rewiring piece begins to happen, because our body starts to feel safe receiving more, whatever it is, money, love, peace. I mean, I'm working on ease, receive. That's so crazy.
Yes, let's work on ease.
Not pain, ease. So that is one practice, one way to begin to feel safe. I love to do breath work. Like I just love breath work. I love to do breathwork sessions. Like, I feel like it's just such a great way to do a nervous system reset in your body, especially when we're carrying all kinds of emotions and sadness and disappointment and never having enough and feeling like you're always just, like you're always about to be in the red or whatever it is. Like, breathwork is such a great way to release all of that energetic, like those trapped emotions. And I cry, like I will get down and dirty because I know it's my time to just like let it all go. And so breathwork is a really great way to feel some ease and some peace and some just space to be able to receive more.
Gosh, thank you so much for that really powerful tool. And what I noticed for myself, it's when it's like, what do you need to hear? It's like, it's really for like the youngest part of you, that needed that message of like, hey, you're okay. You're doing great. Like, you're safe to have what you want. Like, it's okay. And allowing yourself for your body to feel into that space of like, I am safe to be here. Everything's going to be okay. This is not dangerous, because a lot of times we fear the unknown.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. And, Dr. Joe, blessings to him, like he has taught me so much about, it's like all of creation is in the unknown.
Yes, I know.
Everything you want is in the unknown, because everything you knew created what you have.
Yes.
Everything you knew created what you have. So you actually, it's a gift to go to the unknown, because that's where all the new shit is.
That's expansion right there. Like, honestly, it's a gift to go into the unknown. Like, that tells me so much about where you are in your life, because we are striving to become a version of ourselves that we've never been before. So that is the unknown.
Yes.
And that is why our body, that's why the alarms go off, because we will, it's like naturally, biologically, our body and our brain want to keep us in our normal. And whatever our normal is with money right now, whatever your relationship is, it doesn't matter if it's good, it doesn't matter if it's bad, your brain and your nervous system will want to keep you right there, which makes it so hard. Because this woman, I wrote down alarm, and I keep looking down, and I see that and her body just freezes. It's like, or her heart starts to palpitate when she's giving herself permission to have more. And so, Listen, I love this. We could talk all day about
that. Well, what I gathered from that was the ability to slow down in the moment and take the power back in the moment.
Yeah.
Because that's something that when we get caught up, I certainly do. I'm like, well, I got to do the next thing, and there's no small moments to either celebrate or I don't feel good right now, so let me doom scroll,
Ah,
let me avoid,
yeah.
and so it's just an invitation I'm hearing, and I really honor that of like slowing down, taking a breath, reminding yourself you're safe, so that you can expand and take an action into the next phase. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's hitting
It
home.
is, yeah, and it's titrating. So we're allowing our body to slowly but surely recalibrate, to acclimate. That's the word I was looking for, to receive more. Because otherwise, and I love it's like I love the brain so much, and I love mind work.
Yeah.
And that's why I love like hypnosis audios for the mind.
Yes.
And a lot of my journeys now incorporate the body, like fully, like taking not just close your eyes and relax your face, but like I used to do that all the time. Now close your eyes.
Yeah.
No, it's about like, it's around feeling safe. Like, where do you feel unsafe when you think about this?
Mhm.
And allow yourself to like slowly acclimate, to soften to the idea. So all my audios now contain like the body and how important the body is, and doing parasympathetic exercises so that you can feel good as you visualize yourself rolling around in the money or wherever it is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that you can have your body on board.
Mm-hmm.
This truly is the energy. So then it's like you listen to your audio and it's invigorating, inspiring, it's rewiring the mind and the body. And then I'm like, and then you set about your day in that energy,
Yeah.
walking around in that energy, not your default energy, in
Mm-hmm.
this energy, the new energy, the unknown energy that you were talking about, because even the energy is unknown.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is, it's like we can get used to being in stress, and that's our known energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know you
Mm-hmm.
both get,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just it's so powerful, and I so appreciate you taking us through tools. And like I feel like this is also where our work crosses over about the power of receiving, and allowing yourself to receive. And that is just so in the body. It's so primal, and your body will react from a primal space of like, is it safe to open? Is it safe to be internal? Is it safe to accept this gift? Is it, so allowing yourself to be in your body when you're experiencing these things, it's like getting your mind on board and your body on board, knowing, hey, this all works together. They're communicating with each other. Because this is why one of our teachers, he has an article called like Why Affirmations Suck. And it's like, if you don't believe it at your deepest level, you just start lying to yourself. And so it's like what you're speaking about, getting to the unconscious things that are going on, getting your body on board. So then it starts to open of like, okay, if I start to feel energetically in my body that I'm safe, I'm more open to new ideas.
yes,
If I'm in survival mode, I cannot entertain a new idea. I can
yes,
only focus on the next thing.
Yes.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that when I was in survival mode, I was not having clarity. I was like, I just didn't know it, because you don't, because it was my default for so long. I had no awareness, but now I'm like, oh my gosh, when I think about this version of me versus, the version of me from 5 years ago, I'm astounded that I'm at her. But, just learning to not be in survival. I mean, that's true safety.
Mm-hmm.
That's true safety in the body. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and something that I want to like offer this caller is they've already come so far into the
Yeah.
unknown.
Mm-hmm.
I can absolutely relate to the 5 years ago. Like the 5 years ago version of me would be astounded. Would
Yeah.
be so would it they'd be like, "You did what? We're doing
Yeah.
what? We live where? We
Yeah.
married who?" Like it's
Oh,
such a beautiful thing, and it's getting your body used to the fact that you've survived every unknown thing that you didn't know.
so
Mm-hmm.
true. It's so
Mm-hmm.
true. I'm like, honestly, nothing could ever be as bad as my childhood. I'm like, nothing.
I
I'm
feel
like,
like that's how many of us feel.
Yeah,
It's like I'm like, wow, they do this to children. Like, you know
yes.
what I mean? Earth school is intense. They're like, we're gonna scrub your memory and just go on out there. Go on out.
I remind myself of that when I get, when I'm afraid. And, I hit an upper limit, and I mean, that's a different conversation for us to have, but I didn't even know I was in an upper limit because you don't necessarily know it, but I did feel like a lot of fear around, I was trying to grow, but in a safe way. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, we are familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I love that so much, Lisette. And I think that with the caller, I know that we didn't necessarily bring her to the solution in, on this call. And I wouldn't be doing her justice if I said to her, oh, just listen to this and apply these things, and then your life will change.
Yeah.
No, no, it doesn't work that way. I really do believe in like coaching. I do believe in like group containers because we cannot see what we cannot see. And I don't know how many books I read about changing my relationship with money, and it really didn't do anything because it didn't know my patterns. It didn't, there,
Yes.
I'm not saying they're not valuable. They are. It's
Yeah.
valuable information, but I really do believe that in order to change your identity, because
Yeah.
that's what you're doing
Yes.
with money, it requires an investment of time, maybe an investment of money, but really seeking out coaches like us who can help people, who can help her specifically, or people like her, be able to have a healthy relationship with money, but ultimately with herself.
Yeah.
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 And the tools that we gave today will absolutely help for sure. For
Mm-hmm.
sure. But I just don't there's no, everybody's tired of over promising, I mean, of hearing that, right? Not of saying it, but of hearing people over promise. And I'm just like, stop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's going to
Stop.
take work.
Yes.
It gets to be, I'm the most proud of the work I've done myself. More than anything is just like being able to invest the time and energy of learning a tool and then applying that tool and then
Yeah.
leaning into the unknown of what does my life look like when I sit with this tool. And
Yes.
I just certainly agree with the unconscious work is the most important work we could do. If your problem was conscious, you would have solved it by now.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Information is cheap and it's abundant.
Yeah.
And we're all of us, we're all big in personal development spaces and the work because it's the difference that makes a difference. Like I said, information is everywhere and you can get a book, and it's like, I am not knocking books. I have gotten a lot of value from a lot of books. And there's something very unique about being held in a space, held in a container, someone reflecting to you, and someone who can see from outside the box, someone who can see you're sharing with them your patterns in real time, and they're able to respond to you in real time. Books can take close to 10 years to write, so
Yeah.
it's a way. And, for this kind of deep, intensive work, like it supports you to have a deep, intensive tool, which I feel like this leads us into something special that you have going on. Will you share with everybody? Because I'm going to be there.
Oh, yeah, it is. So I am doing a 4-day immersion, and each day we're specifically going to talk about a pattern that gets in the way of you creating the transformation and the change that you actually desire to make with money, or with money and success. I was going to say money or success, but with money and success, those are the two things that I struggled with the most in my life. And so those are the two things that I love to teach about. And it really is, it's an activation. And for the people, I know you two haven't been to any of my workshops yet, but I am a teacher that I teach in a way that people can understand. And I also teach in a way that honors them. And I teach in a way where I serve, and I'm not leaving you with gaping holes everywhere where you go, okay, I know what my problem is, I think. And so a lot of people teach with pain over and over and over and over. And it's not like everybody different strokes for different folks, but I know that when I was trying to change my relationship with money, I already knew the pain.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to tell me, you don't have to teach me more about pain. I get
Yes.
it. And so I love to share and teach in a way that makes sense to people. And you will see Dr. Joe Dispenza he has played a big part in my life. I listened to him for 2 years straight. So he's totally in my subconscious. And I remember going, I don't know what's Dr. Joe and what's Mary with. But
Good company.
It really is about how do you show up in the energy, in the millionaire energy that you desire to be. And maybe if that's too far off, that's okay. 6-figure, multi-6-figure, whatever it is. How do you show up and stay in that energy without your 3D reality knocking you out of it all the time? And so we look at your beliefs, which is beliefs are super important,
Yes.
but a lot of times we can't even get to the beliefs because we've got other shit in the way. Like what our familiar is, meaning like, how do we feel about money? That's our familiar. And so it's 4 days. It's called Unlock Your 6 Figures and Beyond Accelerator. And we kick off May 6th and it's at 1 p.m. And so I would love to invite everybody to come hang out with me. It's a lot of fun. We do activations. We are going to do an incredible money challenge. I don't know if you have ever done a money challenge where everybody gets $7,000 each day and you can only spend it on yourself. You can't give it away. It's so fun because everything comes up for you because you're like, what am I going to do with $14,000 if I can't give it away?
Yeah.
I have a list.
I'm excited to meet the threshold.
I'm excited. This sounds so juicy. And I believe it's a free experience, yes?
Oh, yeah. It's free.
This is a free 4-day experience, you guys, to come hang out with Mary Lou, be in this energy, receive this wisdom, receive this stuff, and like miracles happen. I believe when one of us heals, all of us heal. And when we're in a collective space where we're all doing this deep kind of work, that is where the quantum just pops off.
Yeah.
It is going to be incredible. So May 6th, we're going to put the link in the show notes. Sign up. We will be there.
Yeah. We're going to get paid.
Yeah.
Let's all get paid.
Let's all get paid.
Yeah.
Yes.
The beyond.
Yeah.
6 figures.
Beyond.
I'm here for the beyond.
Beyond. Yes.
Yes. So this is for you too, but everybody who comes every day, I'm like, the goal is to be in that energy for the 4 days that they come and hang out with me, and not just when they're on the call, but when they leave. It's a practice. We are practicing being in the millionaire or the whatever energy it is for everybody who's going to be coming, but we're practicing being in that energy. It is so incredible. It is just such an experience. I can't wait. I love doing these activations and accelerator challenges.
Yay! Oh, this is so good. Thank you so much for this gift and for your time and your energy and your love. If there was something that you just want to leave our audience with about money, about prosperity, about themselves, what would it be?
Yeah. I would love to leave everybody with, my biggest thing was that I didn't believe it was actually possible for someone like me. And I want people to know that no matter their upbringing, no matter their story, no matter their trauma, no matter their addictions, like no matter what, they can have the kind of relationship that they truly desire with money. And that's what I want to leave everybody with. If I can do it, they can do it.
Yes. Oh gosh.
God, that was so beautiful. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. I love seeing your transition from a little Mexican girl in a strawberry field to teaching people how to be millionaires. What a gift you are in the world. Thank you for sharing it with us and our audience.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wow. Mary Lou is just like her soul, her desire, just the character arc that woman has had. Yeah. And like she is breaking stereotypes and just love.
I mean, have you guys discovered the millionaire inside of you? Like I am discovering the millionaire inside of me. And gosh, just to be in that energy and in that frequency, and with her teachings, like I've gotten to go to one of her mastermind classes and hear the way she coaches, like just from a place of deep, deep love. And I believe her. It's like, it is possible for any of us when we allow ourselves, like you said, to do that deep work. It's like, who is the one who is taking action? Who is the one who is looking into the corners of their unconscious mind and saying, like, what's here? What's stopping me? Because my life does not reflect maybe the belief of I love money.
Yeah. I know. That's how I started this episode. And it's what I love about Mary Lou is I didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, it's one thing to go, oh, this is what I think about money because I've been trained for years to use affirmations, but how do I feel about money?
Yes.
That was like, yeah. I love her. I love her. I'm a big fan. Can't wait for the program to start.
I know. Let's get in. I mean, like, the generosity.
Yes.
Love it. Love it. Love it. I'm
Yeah.
very excited to be there. So definitely make sure to tune in. The link to sign up is in the show notes. We will be there. You should be there. And I feel like it's like she was saying, it's about receiving. And so there's always more that can be received.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I know, expanding your capacity to receive. If you would like to receive some wisdom from us, give us a call at 971-895-4111 or send us a DM on at Honest Feedback Podcast on Instagram. Also, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Share this with a friend. You know, this was powerful. Please pass it on to those that you love. And until we meet again, be honest with each other.
Bye.
Yeah.